Greetings of peace and welcome to whomever may be viewing this video. And I would also like to express my gratitude and to welcome my co-host, Yogi Sanjivana or Sanji. So my name is Anthea Alexander. I'm a wellness coach and I'm also interested in different levels of wellness. So I coach people with mindset and nutrition predominantly, but I'm also really interested in emotional well-being, spirituality, faith of all sorts of types and traditions as well. So with my wellness coaching role, I help people to gain weight, maintain weight, lose weight, to increase their energy, to increase their vitality, and basically, if they have specific health issues that they're wanting to, or health goals, should I say, that they're wanting to achieve, certainly I can help people with that. And I predominantly do coaching one-on-one, one-to-one coaching. And if people are interested in exploring that a little bit further, you're welcome to contact me and we can make a time for a chat and we can just explore this a bit further. So I will explain a little bit about our evening. Well, it's evening here for me in Melbourne, Australia, where I am coming from, zooming in from. And basically, our conversation event, it's entitled Living Consciously in 2025. And so that's like a bigger topic or an umbrella topic. And then what we do is each week we look at smaller topics that come under the Living Consciously banner or theme. And then we discuss those. And the intention or purpose of these gatherings is to provide a safe and sacred and space for people to come and to express their thoughts and feelings and to discuss topics that are relevant for us that you may not be able to discuss with other people. And basically, everybody is welcome. And although we select the topics, we're welcome. We are open to exploring and discussing any topic with anybody as long as they're respectful. And with our topic tonight, we've decided to discuss the theme of attachment, which I find really, really fascinating. And it's something that I ponder on and really reflect on. And I would love to now hand it over to my co-host, Sanji, to introduce himself, talk a little bit more about what he does and how he makes his mark on the world, and also anything else he might like to share with us at this point in time. Over to you, Sanji.
Thank you so much, Anthea. So,
Well,
we are having this. I'm Sanji or Sanjivana, and a meditation teacher, and we do like lot of holistic practices from spiritual counseling, where up to mentoring, and then we do a lot of charity work also. And we are planning on like doing some more projects and work also, even with Anthea and all. So, and then so as Anthea mentioned, like we started this podcast to like as educational purposes to educate people and to surely share our knowledges, experiences. No, we also sharing. So we welcome anybody to share their experiences and all. It's not like you have to listen to us or anything like that. No. So it will be fascinating, like and more and more interactions. So today's topic is a wonderful topic. I think it has a lot of things associated. We can see it from a normal like scenario towards like a whole spiritual way or like even the existence process also has a lot of things to do with attachment. So we'll try to dig in as much as possible. So we can go in many places because attachment plays a big role in a positive way as well as a negative way. And yeah, we can see in different angles, different ways, in depth. No, it's always good to see in many many angles and ways. No, so yeah, and yeah, please continue.
Okay, thanks so much for sharing a bit more about who you are and the work that you do, which is really, I admire very, very much. So, when I was preparing a little for this discussion, it was interesting because attachment, as Sanji has mentioned, it can be, it's not by nature something that's negative or positive. It's not a black and white thing like that. I mean, attachment is necessary in terms of perhaps when we come into this world, first of all, and it's essential for us to be attached to our mother or a mother figure or a carer to survive. So attachment is really necessary, and I believe that we are hardwired to seek connection, which is a little bit different, but we can certainly discuss the differences between attachment, connection, and other types of sort of relationships that we have with people and things. But yeah, so attachment can be very necessary. Connection is necessary for our well-being with other human beings, and so it's not, as I said, a black or white thing. And as Sanji mentioned as well, we can discuss it from different perspectives. So we can discuss it from like a definition point of view. We can discuss it from perhaps a psychological point of view because they talk about attachment issues,
Mhm.
and we can discuss it perhaps with attachments that but even being conscious that we have attachments to things, I think is really helpful, and perhaps we can provoke some thoughts and discussion. So I won't say too much more at the moment. I might just share a definition of attachments.
Mm.
So this is a definition of psychological attachment. So we've got attachment refers to a deep and enduring emotional bond that connects one person to another across time and space. For example, some of the greatest sources of joy involve falling in love, starting a family, being reunited with distant loved ones, and sharing experience with close others. Close others. So that's psychological attachment that
Mhm.
we mentioned just before. So I'll hand it over to Sanji to talk a little bit more. But actually,
Yeah, sure.
before I hand it over to Sanji,
Yeah.
another way that we can look at attachment is from a faith-based perspective.
Mhm.
So different faiths have different teachings and perhaps wisdom around attachments.
Mhm.
So that's something else that we can talk about. So over to you once again,
Oh,
Sanji.
thank you. So when you said about attachment, we see like a baby cuddling to a mom, and even when you see like newborn puppies and all, they quickly or pets, yeah. So they quickly go. So you see, and then like little pets and all, when the kittens, the puppies, no, they have not opened their eyes even, but they naturally go towards their mom, no. So even children, and you all have these nice kangaroos and all, how they jump into the pouches, right, of the mom. So and even if they are big, like they really want to stay in, no, but like they are like out you go, no, and so there is like a natural tendency as attachment, and then sometimes we see like this is nothing bad or something. Like sometimes the mother is attached like towards the male, like the children, sometimes not always, and sometimes the father, there's inclination not in a bad way or anything, like towards the daughter, no. So sometimes, and you see like oh, it can be either way, right? So And there are surely, like in relationships and all, there's attachment. No, you can have attachment to even somebody who teaches you something. And you are no? So this can go in many directions. It can turn into devotion or even blind faith. No, no, so any good ways as well as bad ways also, right? And not only that, we can have attachment to our bodies, uh, the minds and all, and in some institution. That's why sometimes even cults appear, right? They are so attached, ideology, viewpoints. Some people are like really hardcore, no? So they would like try to do so much things like, but likewise, like attachment can go in many directions, as you mentioned. But the basic ones are like we see like in a family situation, and those kind of things which are quite normal. uh, and uh, and as beings, like there is some attachment, and otherwise when we lose it also, uh, the humanity in us also can go away, no? If the parents don't have attachment towards their kids, or the kids don't have attachment towards their uh, parents and all, then they can just break and go and maybe never see each other again. So some bondage, so it can turn into a very healthy bond, no? The connection, understanding, and all these things. So let's try to talk in different ways and different ways, no, to see methods.
Okay, so some of the ideas that I came up with when I was starting to think about this topic. So, relationships, certainly, which is something that you've mentioned. And I guess there's healthy attachment, there's not so healthy attachment.
Mhm.
And there's perhaps even a period of time in relationships where, or different phases when attachment might be a bit closer than it is at other times. So, for example,
Mhm.
the exact baby, human or a puppy or a kitten or a small animal. So there's a certain amount of time that basically, and they usually, often in social media, I follow a lot of animal accounts because I love
Mhm.
animals.
Mhm.
So talk about the period of time when they are educating us about the animals, the period of time that an animal is, it's normal, for the animal to really stay close to its mother. So with humans, so there's like perhaps the mother will breastfeed, perhaps she won't, perhaps she has medical issues or some other issues that
Mhm.
mean that she's not possible. So then the baby is relying on her for its sustenance, nutritional sustenance, and so then that might go on for a certain period of time, and then, but with animals, again, it might be a period of time. So I know with kittens and puppies, they sort of talk about maybe 12 weeks time frame that the animals need to be with their mothers, and then it's pretty much provided that they've developed okay, then it's okay for them to be adopted out into other families. So, other things that I wanted to mention that we might become attached to, our jobs,
Mhm.
uh, our source of, what's the word?
Okay.
Identity,
Sure.
material possessions, we can become very attached to.
Mm.
Social media, mentioning social media, perhaps we can become
Mm.
that as well. And then that can, I guess, another extreme of attachment could be addiction, perhaps.
Mm.
Note of that.
Yeah.
And so Sandy has mentioned before about empathy, and I can't read my own handwriting, but I'll give it a try. Yeah, I also made a note about trauma.
Mhm.
So I'm not quite sure why I wrote that, but anyway, that might be something that can come into it. And what else? Addiction. And oh, the other thing I wanted to mention was about attachment to God or to a higher purpose,
Mhm.
or to a calling, a devotion. For example, like Sanji, I don't know whether he mentioned it before, but he was a former monk. And so that was something that very much was part of his life. I don't know whether he would consider it an attachment or not, but it was definitely like a devotion or calling, something that he decided that was his part of his pathway. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So what you say is true, like addictions. I was also thinking about addiction, but not trauma. But yeah,
Okay.
like addiction, because of attachment to something or some sensation, you it can turn into an addiction, right? And then surely like trauma can appear. But there are some people, like you wonder why, like there are some abusive situations, and because they are attached to the maybe the partner, they tend to stay around. uh,
Yeah.
Maybe verbal abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, no, but still they stay enduring all that. And so later it can turn into a numb stage, and they don't even know that they are being abused, no. So it becomes a normality. But from seeing from outside side, like you witness like, okay, this is not normal, right? Nobody talks to people like this. So like surely if it's like violent and physical, that's no way. And even like when you're saying something that is really bad again and again, no, or doing something that is really person gets hurt mentally on purpose, right? And then so these things apply, and it can turn into trauma. And there are some people like uh, I don't know for what reason, like they like drama in their life. So maybe adrenaline rush or something like that. And they even interview some girls and boys also, no? And they always want to be in like a chaotic situation. Not everybody, yeah. I'm not just telling. Some like they ask like, which would you choose? And they specifically say, and they then they ask like, why would you do that? But they say, I cannot help myself. So for example, like if they are in some bad kind of relationship, or they still choose the same, and then they wonder why, like why is it always happening to me? And they come on social media also and talk about it, and tell all these things details. But then other people also ask like, why are you keep on doing that? No. So but it seems like there's a trend or some pattern happening. And in a way, like the attachment factor plays a role there, because the only thing is like in attachment, and they are like it can bring pain. More we are attached, that I will talk about that also, like what to, how to then if not attached, what to do, no, like you cannot discard everything. But only thing, more we are attached, say it's a child or a parent or somebody, if the attachment is more, okay, like there are millions of children, right, in the world. But if somebody close to us, like if something happens, uh, it you feel it, right?
Sure.
But we sometimes maybe some far corner in the world we don't even know, and even if we saw on TV or something, we might feel sorry or something, but we might not feel as exactly how we feel to the person or the children who is close by, relative or anybody, no? Oh, so likewise, so the attachment, so these children, other children can be in war zones, but if our ones like just fell down or something, we will really feel like a big shock, no, like something like that, or big thing, no. We so what is the differentiation? No, what is the separation? These are all children in the sense, right? But you can see there's a difference. And the other thing is like if the children change or the parents change, or maybe partners or anything like that, or even a company or anything, it can hurt even more. So they talk about detachment also, like, as a practice also. But we'll talk, like you said, like jewelry, watches, mobiles, social media, internet, even like pornography addictions. No, like no, even some people cannot stop it themselves, right? So some people shopping, right? it they cannot stop. Like it's like no, like let's go for it, no. So and they can drain like credit cards or anything so fast, right? So there can be food addictions or like sorry attachment to some specific kind of foods, no, and they become obese and maybe sick and maybe sugary substance or something like with that, and they are diabetic and they cannot help themselves. So they say like, okay, whatever happens, I do my thing. And in the way, like we are caught up in things like anger also. The irony is like that's why we cannot let it go. It seems, though we say we don't like to be angry like that, but it's like somebody's chewing on some bitter kind of thing. But we know it's bitter, but we are savoring on it. So ancient wisdom tells a lot of about this. We say, "Oh, I don't like to be angry. I feel so uncomfortable." Then why are we holding on to it, right? Why not let it go? But still, we grab a hold onto it, or keep a grudge, or anything like that. No, because there is something that is involved. That though it's like bitter and painful and harsh, we still hold on to it. We'll talk about that also because there's like a sequence, like a domino effect also that happens. Huh? Yeah, yeah, please, Anthea.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. And there's a few thoughts that are coming into my head. So I was interested by what you said about the drama because, yes, some people seem more attracted to drama, or I'm not quite sure why or whether they're conscious about it. But some people just continuously seem to have dramatic situations popping up all the time. And so that's quite interesting to observe. And perhaps there's some sort of attachment to drama. Perhaps it's about attention seeking. Maybe they're looking for attention.
Mhm,
And attention, we all need attention. We all need to feel seen and heard and loved and cherished and worthy. However, sometimes there might be ways that we try and seek uh, those feelings that aren't the most healthy ways to go about it.
mhm,
Uh, and there might be a whole range of reasons for that. It could be to do with childhood experiences, and perhaps that's why I wrote down trauma before. It might
mhm,
have even been trauma, um, whether it was conscious or unconscious. We might be aware of it or not aware of it. From our childhood, there might have been a situation that occurred, and so we're looking for that sort of validation.
mhm,
Uh, and that can be the same way in terms of addictions as well. We're looking for that adrenaline rush. We're looking for those feel good hormones that get released when we engage in whatever activity it is. And then we're going back and we're looking for that sort of adrenaline rush and the feel good hormones again. And I also wanted to mention that, yeah, some people can be addicted to work as well. So
mhm,
it's a whole range of different things. And some addictions may not seem harmful on the surface, but perhaps I guess it's not black or white, as we were saying before. It's not right or wrong. It's more about balancing things out in your life so that you have life balance and that you're healthy and you can thrive. I also made a note of codependent relationships, which,
mhm,
yeah, I think that's what you were talking about before when there might be some domestic violence that's happening in the relationship, or it could be like emotional abuse, verbal abuse. It might not be to the point of physical abuse, but people will stay in that situation, whether it's a male or a female or whatever people identify as. They'll stay in that relationship, perhaps because they feel attached. They're frightened of perhaps who they are or what their situation will be outside of that relationship. So they stay with what they know
mhm.
rather than make changes. And what you were talking about with anger is very, very interesting because, and I've experienced it myself with experiencing anger, that would be so much, I would feel so much lighter. It would be much better for me if I could let go of it. But for some reason, there's just
Mhm.
this, yeah, holding on and
Mhm.
some sort of, yeah, and it can lead to resentment, and it can certainly also affect us physiologically, and we've talked about this before. So, with naturopathy, which I have studied before at some length, they talk about anger being stored in the liver, being attached. Attached. There's that word again. Related to the liver. So when they talk about bile, which is a substance that is released through the liver. And so uh, it can be that a person is I can't think of English sayings at the moment, but there are sayings in English that are
Mhm.
relate to the liver that relate to anger.
Mhm.
So it can impact on us. So what I guess I'm trying to say is that if we have a whole lot of anger that we're holding on to that's not healthy for us, it can affect certain parts of our body. So, for example, our liver.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'll hand it over to you.
Oh. So in ancient wisdom, Anthea, it says they go it in another way. So they talk about energies and all these things, no? So they say like there's a craving involved.
Okay.
So its craving is like, for example, like some sticky substance.
Mhm.
Attachment is like getting stuck in it. You can have some. So here we have like maybe you also have like jackfruits, like a big jackfruit. So when you there's like hard shell, like not a shell, the outer layer, and when there's like white latex like substance coming from that, and even the knife and all gets stuck, and you have to use like coconut oil or something to like remove it because it can really get stuck, and if it falls on your fabric, it really gets stuck. So actually, they use this kind of stuff like before even to catch monkeys.
Right.
So it's not a good thing. I'm just telling. So hunters used to, not us, no, like hunters used to do that. They're like bunch of monkeys. We don't want to catch them. We want to like send them somewhere. No, they're like yeah, huge gang of monkeys here. So we don't want to catch them and keep them. No, so they used to call makkata latu. Latu means like a residue or something like that, which was very sticky. It seems. So the monkey comes and he's like very curious, no, or he or she, like he's very curious. So it stucks one paw onto it and then tries to like remove it and get the other one of the stack. Then it's like they use all four paws and then they try to stick the other, so whole body gets stuck. And the tail also gets stuck. So like what happens is for us also they say like the five senses, like the four paws and the tail. We also get stuck by seeing with the eye, and then you have to listen also. If it's some food or smell it also, even food, then all we smell it, no? And then we have to taste it also. And not only that, maybe inside your mouth or something like that, you have to feel it also. Oh, it is so delicate, no? Like also like it just melted in my mouth. You say that, right? So it was like chewy and like I had to chew it on like 10 minutes and my jaw is also hurting. No, that's not a good experience, right? So or it had a stone or sand, grain or sand or something in it. No, it will be horrible, right? So so we are like focused on that also and many other things. No, like even the clothing or anything like that. No, so we also get ourselves stuck. Huh? So there's a craving involved, and then the craving we get stuck there just like that mischievous monkey. And then what happens is like you can fall into trouble. So these things really go to the depths, like you say, like when you talk about the liver and all. If we can talk like our inner core is like a hard drive. or main memory. So it gets stored there. And this is a reason, even for if somebody believes in like future births and all, or how we came here, this is what they say, like craving. Because of craving, it's called clinging or attachment. Huh? You then there it goes to the depths, and at any moment you can be born accordingly. So there's like so much storage. It's not just a simple thing. We get so caught up in that, so it's a huge amount of energy. That's why when it switches to the opposite side, we can be very hurt with that. So they say like, okay, like a leech moving. You know leeches, right? It's kind of like you feel like no, but there are good ones also who help for medicinal purposes also, right? So I'm bringing a good perspective for the leeches, like campaigning on their behalf. So like leeches, and then like they go to one place and they grab hold of one, keep a foothold, and then they move to another, and they release this and try to go to another one. So likewise, from mental object to object. Huh? This is in the most subtlest places. Huh? We tend to like get hooked up on the very next one, the very next one. And more it like gets attached, it's difficult to remove it. We get really stuck in there. So it could be anger. It could be like some craving we have. Anything, those kind of things, even like things like idea or viewpoint. These things we can get stuck there. So not only that, this thing, like if you believe in like future lives and all, it can transmit to the next life also. So or karmic energy like that they talk of.
Yeah.
So it's because, and it all plays like the role of ignorance there. So because of ignorance, there's craving, uh, and then there's because of craving, there's attachment, and then attachment builds a big amount of energy, uh, and that can help to even for future births, uh, or even a lot of pain in this life. So there is a way to counter this. I will talk about that. It's not all negative and everything is bad, blah blah blah. Not like that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's really fascinating. And it gives us some insight as to why we perhaps hold on to things that are not necessarily beneficial for us. But there's just something that's, it's like a deep sort of hooking on to
Mhm.
that emotion or the relationship or whatever it is that we're feeling attached to, that we just can't sort of let go of for whatever reason. So, what I would love to talk about are some ways that we can detach from situations or
Mhm.
to ourselves like a healthy balance. So, as we often talk about, meditation, I think, is a great
Mhm.
way to detach ourselves from uh, it. Well, it helps us to go inward. Meditation has so many benefits, but one of them I feel is that by helping us to go inwards and explore our own inner landscape, and become more aware of more self-awareness, which is another benefit. It helps us to perhaps have a short break from the physical around us, by focusing on our breathing. It helps us to uh, focus on something that's constant, but that we're not sort of relying on. It's not an addiction. It's not a material possession. It's not. It's something that's healthy and wholesome to really tune into. So meditation is an awesome way, I feel, about staying detached, or a healthy level of attachment, let's say,
Mhm.
balanced attachment, perhaps, if that's something that we can achieve. So meditation is great. I think even the awareness that we are attached to
Mhm.
certain things, and that perhaps we might not understand the attachment, but we might even want to explore it with someone who we trust, a counselor or a guide, a mentor, someone who is a little bit distant from us because we're so close to ourselves, we may not be able to see what other people can see. So that's something that we could choose to explore. And self-awareness is always amazing. Reflection is always amazing. What other ways do you think that we can maintain a sense of balanced attachment, Sanji?
Uh-huh. Yeah, what you say is so true. Like with meditation practices, we definitely can. More deeper we go, yeah, let's get into the point of like we brought it up, no? So detachment. So, yeah, for example, the little children play with us sometimes, right? And they say like, "Hey, let's see what's in my hand," no? So we say like, "Oh, is it a sticker? Is it a toy? Or is it a sweet?" We go with all a list that they. Then suddenly they open their hand. Hey, no, there's nothing inside, right? No? And then they play with us, right? So, but sometimes there's so what happens is like we think there's something. Uh, which it could be there. Say you have a cube of ice or something, or something made of ice, and you grab hold on it, right? That we, but we don't. We forget that it seeps off and it starts melting, right? So then, like we are really grabbing hold onto it. So this could be anger. This could be some kind of no craving or anything, or any with all the labels we talked of. It could be some whole good thing, but still we can be attached to that. That's why people are offended, right? It could be some belief or something, like some people like. So I remember one teacher said if somebody calls you a dog, look behind whether you have a tail. And if you don't have a tail, no, sorry, I'm not a dog, right? So then, no, it is true, right? You don't have to get like angry and like, you, how dare you call me a dog? Like, so so, but dogs are good, right? They, no, and so likewise, so we get so caught up, and just like the children said, like after you open up, there's nothing here, right? But we tend so meditation, what we are doing in deeper meditations and all, we just remove one by one and just check and see what is really there. What were we holding on to? So anger or anything is like that. Even the idea of self or anything, for that matter. That doesn't mean it's void or anything. Uh, It's not like a blank space or anything. So what we can do is we can replace craving with wholesome things. For example, like empathy, kindness, wisdom. So the bond with those children or colleagues or like anybody, even people around you, will be very wholesome, and it will be much more, how to say, pure than the egoistic belief. For example, let's take like one of the most difficult is like parent to child, right? It's a very close bond, no? But if somebody changes, like, oh, I did so much for this my child, and look how they are talking to me, I felt so hurt. It's something you hear, no? Parents telling. And some little, because they love them so much, right? And they try to do everything. There may be many years of their life, and if they are mothers, they had to keep them in their womb, no, and nature them, protect them so much. And after that also, when they come out, it's not an easy task, no. You have to clean them regularly. And I remember some of our friends used to say like, we are literally like covered in excreta, or I don't want to use the word exactly they said, because they were like bathing in it. They said like, he was a friend of mine, and he said like, we are, both of us are like literally bathing in it. And you never know like the next firing point, no. So we were also there, right? So and that, so there's so much things to do, and then suddenly, even when they say something, it really hurts. So if we can replace that egoistic belief, huh, and bring something like wisdom to it, or like compassion or these kind of things, okay, like the connection will be always there, but the things that are hurting can be taken out, and that gap will be filled with beautiful things wholesome things. Uh, So, all in all, I'm talking about the very last thing. Like, if you go to the deeper sense of reality, then like we cannot say there's even, like you mentioned, like good or bad, even, right? Because all kind of these things like kind of evaporate. In when, but otherwise, we just grab hold on it, and even if you just have a clenched fist, after some time, it's too much pressure. Or like it's hurting, no, after some time you cannot just keep like your hand like this forever. It at Because of the pain, even you have to release, and let go. So sometimes letting go brings a lot of freedom, even from like the even deeper stages of meditation or even enlightenment, and all the letting go process is a big thing. So we let go of actually those causes that bring the cycle of existence, even if possible. So uh, but for other things also, because we are not attached to things actually. When you say we are attached, but we cannot stop. Say if I'm attached to my computer, but I have no control over it, right? Sometimes it like does what it wants, right? Oh, really, right? So, but if it's mine, and if I'm like really, I say it's mine, but hey, you don't do that anymore. Even our bodies, we are so attached to our bodies, right? Some people don't want to let go even in their last moments. The other things come later, right? So then, but there's a funny story also. Can I tell it?
Go ahead.
So one time, there was this person who had a nice, like a, I don't know, like a supermarket like thing, no? He had started from scratch, and like now he was elderly, and so now he was in his like last moments. So their children and everybody came around. Maybe you heard this, no? And they like say it like their names, no? So he asked like their children's names. So wife was also there. So she was also there. Okay, like checking the register. Then, then asked like the eldest, the second, the third, like that, like couple of children. Then he suddenly asked like, if all you are here, who's in the shop, right? And like yeah, so in his last moment, he remembered his business and shop. So that is also one level of attachment, right? So, so we are not caught up actually in the actual things. We are caught up in the mind with the mind as mind objects, because he didn't have his shop there, right? Uh,
No.
it was his at his home, no. But even in his last moment, he was carrying uh, that idea. So, or the mental object, no. Yeah. So likewise, all these things like we are attached to. If we are somebody's attached to a gemstone, they cannot put it inside and lock it up in the brain or someplace, right? That will be a problem, no? So they just keep it in a vault or say for some place. But the thing is, like, if say you are attached to something you see on TV and you really want to get it, no? Uh, but then what happens is like when you don't have it, also you're sad or like it hurts. And for some reason, you do all the gimmicks and everything, and you get it. Next time it will be like, oh my goodness, like what if somebody steals it and takes it away? Then you have to protect it, right? Or maintain it just to keep it, no? Or you can lose it or something like that. And then if you have it and lose it, that's another big thing, right? So either way, like there's something involved in that, right? So that's why some people like they go like really awkward, and if I cannot have it, nobody has it, right? And they try to like destroy other people's lives also because of this, no? Say some girl or somebody says I don't want have a affair with you, they go like very in a very bad way, even taking revenge, no? So so these attachments can happen in very way, but we can replace it in with wholesome things, no?
Okay, thank you for sharing your stories and your wisdom about that. And I love the
Oh,
analogy gave of the clenched fist and opening up one finger at a time with meditation, and even to see what is there, and also, yeah, like closing your head, like keeping your hand closed in a clenched fist. It seems like it's quite relaxing, but if you try and do it for a few minutes at a time, I'm sure that it would get pretty tiring. And that's, yeah, an analogy of us holding on to things that are not really helpful to us. All right. So, um, what I would like to do now, we've just got probably about another 10 minutes or so that will be our hour of discussion. So we could take it a couple of different ways. Would you like to do some meditation, or is there something more you would like to share about attachment or healthy attachment or detachment
If you
practice?
like, let's do some meditation then.
Let's do some meditation on attachment. And something that I'm thinking in quite a different way now. And what I'm thinking of is even getting attached to like the seasons of, basically this evening, we haven't changed our time, but I noticed that it was a lot darker when we started our session. So I have been used, because we started basically at the beginning of summer, the summer
Uh-huh.
season in Australia. So I've been used to it being quite light, but the seasons are changing. So that's just another example of. So yeah, all right. So let's do some guided meditation, and perhaps we can focus on some attachment. Even by doing the guided meditation, it will help us with balanced attachment or detachment, or even being aware of what we perhaps are attached to. All right. So closing our eyes, making ourselves comfortable, first of all, in a chair or lying down where our spine's going to be nice and straight, and where we won't be interrupted for about the next 10 minutes or so, and ensuring that our lighting is comfortable for us. I've changed my lighting a little bit so it's not so glary, which is more conducive to relaxation and guided meditation. And you might like to just check for any jewelry or belts or clothing that feels tight. So just loosen it or readjust it so it won't be interfering with the meditation practice, and you'll be quite comfortable for the entire practice. Closing our eyes, starting to observe our breath. Nothing that we need to do about it, but just observing it, noticing perhaps whether it's a little bit more shallow and rapid, tuning into our breath, and also observing any sounds that are in the room where you are or the space that you are, perhaps outside your home or the space where you are at the moment. I can hear the sound of trams, which are making their way along the main road, which is close to my home. Might hear the sounds of birds or nature or the wind, or everyday sounds in the area that you're in. And now let's go for a walk down some stairs. We're going to go down 10 stairs, and I will count them down for us. And we're going to walk down some stairs. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to move through an archway into beautiful natural space where there are lots of trees and animals, and the weather is fine, the sun is shining. There's lots of flowers of all different colors, and we've got beautiful, fragrant herbs that are growing, like lavender, oregano, sage. And when we touch these beautiful plants, their gorgeous scents are released, and we can smell their beautiful signature scents. The beautiful healing scent of the lavender, the dry scent of the sage, sort of tangy scent of oregano and rosemary, and brush our fingers against the rosemary, and it's smell the sharp scent of the rosemary. And now let's sit down in an area where there's some beautiful green grass, and we've got a little rug on the grass or a blanket where we can sit or lie and really tune into our beautiful natural environment and tune into ourselves. So visualizing ourselves sitting or laying in this position, and then moving into, in our mind's eye, into our heart spaces, our heart chakra, our heart center, and feeling the expansiveness of this area as we breathe into it. Focusing on this area, and our heart chakra is usually related to an emerald green color. So we can see our chakra as an emerald green color or an emerald green gemstone. And the energy is spinning in a clockwise direction. Just really feeling into this space, feeling a sense of gratitude for all that our heart chakra does for us. And very close by, our physical heart. You may tune into your heartbeat. And now I'd love to hand the meditation over to Sanji to continue guiding us in this beautiful practice.
Thank you so much, Anthea. So while you are there in that beautiful place, just see how you feel. Is it the mind you witness now? Is it the sensations you feel? Or is it the feeling itself? And just see whether you can do it in a way, notice it in a very wholesome way. If you can just see whether you can be the observer. without much of a reaction. And if possible, just see whether there's any kind of attachment involved. Do you crave for those sensations? Do you crave for those feelings? We can just observe them with mindfulness, awareness, being awake, without the idea of let me have more, because they will arise. And maybe you feel them arriving at each moment, which is totally fine. You can enjoy it, you can have the peace, harmony. And if possible, with this understanding, slowly take it to the region of your body. Feel the whole from head to feet. You can take your attention from the scalp region, slowly moving down to the forehead, all around, as if you are doing a scan. Then the eyes, the front part of the face, the back of the head, the neck region, behind the back of the neck, then the shoulders, the upper part of the arm, the chest region, the upper back, then the abdomen, lower back, the lower part of your arms, then even the lower part of your body. And if you have placed your palms on your maybe the thighs or the knees, just feel them too. Even the lower parts of the legs, right up to the toes. And just see all in all. Just be aware, but in a very relaxed way. And just see whether you can feel. How do you feel now? Are they the sensations, the feelings? And how much attachment is there? And even if you feel pain or some discomfort, would you crave for the opposite? Or you can be at peace, what is there at this moment? Now slowly take it outwards to the room or place where you are and just see how it feels. Can you just witness it and enjoy the present moment? Or are there more things involved? Surely you can enjoy it, you can appreciate it, can like the people who are there, the loved ones, the pets. But is there attachment involved which can take or reduce that happiness? Then slowly move further to the house and just see how it feels. It can be any type of house, even a hut, but just see how it feels to your mind. Do you feel it's lacking something? I'm not talking about what is necessary. Contentment. Can you be at peace with that? Or is there a sense of attachment? And even outside, just slowly move out. Maybe there's your car or your outer area. And just see, like Anthea mentioned, about the beautiful places around, or just what is already present. Can you be at peace with that? Or is there something of ideology, even, or attachment that something should be like this? Or we can just witness. Even further, the world and everything. How much can we let go of the negative attachments and witness it for as it is? And bring things like kindness, compassion, or empathy, or love, care, these kind of things that can take away the negatives. It replaces them. And it's very profound and pure. So that picture we have as world all around, if you remove the negatives, it's much more beautiful. We can be much more happier wherever we are, in whatever situation. Then slowly come back with that idea or view or awareness and slowly focus on your house and see again what would it look like now. But do it in a very relaxed way. Can you be happy just as it is? Then slowly back to your room. You just leave the attachment aside. And even to your body, just see with gratitude for the things really that helped you all these years. For keeping this beautiful mind safe and secure. For letting me to reach higher inner growth and do so many things. Can we observe that and the beauty of it? And then slowly move down, even to your mind, or even the breath itself, or even the body again. And the body also, just see, you can feel the sensations. Maybe you feel them arising and passing, maybe in different places. Or you can slowly move to the breath. And with the breath, you can see this is our main life energy. Can we be happy about that? We can be attached to the breath even, but it takes its own course. But as long as we have it, can we be peaceful with it, happy about it? And it shows like the sensations in our body, the breath, it always shows there is a arising and passing. And though we try to have attachment, as each waves come and go, it doesn't stay, which is fine. And slowly moving downwards to the mind, we can feel these thoughts coming and going. Even the negatives, we can be so attached to something, but they also don't stay. Even the positives. But when the negatives are removing, we can have peace, or we can let go and have peace. And that space will be taken with very positive, wholesome things like love, kindness, happiness, peace. So you can enjoy life, have lots of peace, even through detachment of negatives, restoring your wholesome bonds in life and connections. So, with those beautiful intentions, let us bring to like the windows of our soul, our eyes, and let it go project outwards also to our life and everywhere, every corner, and take it can have very wholesome existence without the cravings or even unwholesome attachments, which life always teaches us, sometimes in a very hard way. So, with this message, let's slowly, gently open our eyes and put this mind frame to action in our livelihoods.
Thank you for that beautiful guided meditation.
We both did it, right? Yeah,
I
so
did
thank you, Anthea. No?
so much, it felt like I didn't contribute to it. So
No, oh, come on. No?
spot for a moment. Thank you for contributing to the beautiful guided meditation. It was really lovely. And thank you for contributing to the discussion tonight. I think it's been very thought provoking for me. And I think that it's going to really help me to see a lot of things in a different way, which I feel really positive and healthy to be conscious of different things and to re-examine different things. And I pray that this is the benefit that other people will receive from viewing this video as well. So thanks so much for helping me to co-host this event. And would
Mhm.
if you would
Thank you so
like to
much, Anthea. And yeah, like thank you also for bringing all these wonderful topics and all these things. It's always a great pleasure to be here. And we are sharing, no? It's not like teaching each other or anything. No, we are sharing all no all things. So yeah, it's like that's why it's like co-host also, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's a great pleasure, and surely like we'll put these things in many places, and so people can even in many years to come, they'll be there for people to witness. No, yeah. So thank you so much, and they have a great evening or night time for you now. So have a good night and a good rest. For everybody also watching, have a beautiful day wherever you are. Thank you so much.
thank you, Sanji.